2, 3. What's up? We are back in transition, full court press in transition with Coach Q. I'm so excited about the young man that I have on today, and I say young man, but he is. We've known each other for a while, and has just grown in the business, grown in so many areas. Sharod is one of the American emerging personal achievements and professional experts, performance experts, whether keynote speaking or facilitating masterminds, group workshops, coaching and consulting. Sharod has a high energy and is refreshing, original presentations with all types of different things, from basketball to mentorship, to developing young, to entrepreneurs. I mean, you name it. Sharod is got his hands in it, and he is building a following and a culture. And without further ado, his bio will be in all the information we have. I'm ready to get right into it. Sharod, man, I appreciate you being here today, being on Full Court Press. And I'm just going to start off. We're going to jump in it because we were talking before, and you were dropping some nuggets. And I hope that same energy and flow continues, but you were really dropping some powerful information that I think our listeners need to hear. But my first thing is, before we get into all that, who is Sharod and where are you from, and what brought you to this state of manifest that you talk about? What brought you to that through your experiences in your life?
So thanks for having me on. My name is Sharod Tomlinson. I'm from Left Rack City, Queens. The home of, we call it legends, Kenny Anderson, Kenny Smith. Grew up there, lived there all my life. And, I am an educator. I'm a father, community involved in the community. And I love just working with youth. I think it's one of the best things that we can do in this world is try to change lives. What brought me to this place was my childhood. Living with, I have 2 other brothers, so being a brother, having a mom, single mom who raised us, and understanding the value of mentoring. There's a lot my mom did for us, amazing stuff that she still does for us. But, there was a need for a mentor to come in, and not that all mentors have to be men, but in my life, it was some key men that stepped up in my life and helped me along the way. And so as they helped me and guide me along the way, from young, I knew that I understood the impact of mentoring. And so whether it's education, whether it's working in community, whether it's sports, I understand that as much as, you want to win and you want to see kids graduate, it's about the experience that you give them and allowing them to understand, 1, the power of relationships, but also 2, the role that we have, the ability to learn from one another. And I think the more that we are lifelong learners and connected to one another, it means more. The experience means more than the outcomes, the tangible outcomes at times.
Man, and that is powerful, because I talk about the gift of access, and you can't have the gift of access unless you have relationships. And so me and you have known each other for a long time, and we built a relationship, and you allowed me to have the gift of access to New York through recruiting. But then that allowed me to have the gift of access to you and knowing you on a personal level and the things that you're doing. And so I don't think people really understand like how powerful that statement is relationship is the key to all of it. And in that, you built relationship with kids across New York, through basketball. And I want to take it another step, because, we're so consumed with, like, only thing we can do is basketball. But I want to go in the direction of what you're doing on college campuses and what you're doing educationally. First of all, this gentleman is working on his dissertation. And if everyone knows, working on his dissertation, that means he is close to achieving something that a small percentage of Black men, minority people get to achieve, and that's having a doctorate and a PhD. So let's talk about that, because that is like just inspiring, brother, inspiring. And so let's talk about, what are you getting your doctorate in, your PhD in, first of all?
So my doctorate degree will be in leadership, instructional leadership and administration.
Okay.
It's in the School of Education at St. John's University. I was at Dowling first, and then they had a closure. So working at St. John's now, I enrolled in their program. And to be at the dissertation stage, as you said, Q, like there's not many Black people with doctorate degrees. So that was one thing that pushed me to do it. But another thing it was about mentoring, right? So I have a mentor who, we were close for years, and I watched his growth through higher education. He now serves as a president of a university here in New York State, and I saw him get his doctorate. I met one of the other two people who got their doctorates, and I was like, you can get that. You know what I'm saying? Because I saw the examples that were set that you can get a doctorate. Before that, most people in my family, they would talk about being a doctor, lawyer, taking a civil service exam, something like that. And I knew, I was 13. I told my mom, I can't do that. Like, my path would be different. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't know what it would be. I didn't know how it would turn out. But I knew that I had to do something different. The other thing was, we work in different arenas, and oftentimes we are seen as, especially as men of color in education, as, be the enforcer of policies and procedures, be the one who disciplines the kids and things like that, be the one who connects to them and takes them on trips and things of that nature. But I always wanted a seat at the table because I felt like in my own educational experience, I didn't see enough men of color in my own educational experience. I think I may have had one Black teacher, and I was in the 5th grade. Other than that, I had one, actually two. I had one African-American woman in the 5th grade, and I had one Black college professor. And he taught us the history of sports. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't see enough men of color in influential positions at the college and throughout my educational experience. And I said, you know what? I want to be one that has a seat at the table to make an impact on students' academic experiences.
Man, that's amazing. And so with that, tell us what you do at St. John's on campus. You discussed a little bit about that, and I want to kind of delve into that a little bit of what you do at St. John's for these students.
So at St. John's University, I am the director of student development. And so one of my main roles there is the RISE network. I have every year since I've been at St. John's, over 400 students that are in this program. It started out as just a freshman mentoring program. We would connect them with upperclassmen. So every year since I've been there, we've had 300 plus freshmen, as many as 75 mentors, juniors and seniors. And we pretty much just take these students, connect them to the university, administrators, various aspects of the college, because coming into a university is a culture shift for many students. It's a culture shift. There are many different variables and backgrounds where students come from. And we wanted to make sure that these students were not only connected to university, but performing at a high level. So we do study hours with them. We have check-in meetings with them. We also have community service opportunities that we do with them. But I think their peer-to-peer connections is where, they're able to kind of make a lot of their, build a lot of strong relationships at the start of their academic experience. In addition to that, after my first year at St. John's, I added a sophomore piece. I thought the sophomore piece was important because many of these students go to colleges and universities, and just reading, the freshman transfer rate is high at many universities. And I wanted to make sure that on my watch that we will retain the students at a high level. And so we've had as high as a 90% retention rating with the program. We've saw, 87, 85, 90%, somewhere in that range. And so we've been able to retain students at a high level. And then in addition to adding the sophomore piece, we wanted to make sure that students weren't lost in their academic experience. And so after you get through freshman year to your sophomore year, it's less likely that you're going to transfer out in your junior year. You know what I mean? And so we work with them even in their junior, senior year to make sure with other partners on campus, you know what I mean? Like it's a program that one aspect of it that we focus ourselves on is the net. How do we build relationships across campus so that therefore students have relationships with people that when they're in need of something in career services or financial aid or with public safety even, that they have a go-to person to help them during their academic experience.
And that is so important because I believe when I was a student activities director and resident director at the University of the Ozarks, one of our biggest things was to build a net. Mm-hmm. So when a student fall, we had some, like you said, something there to catch them. But the only way that was done was through relationships. And we talked about, and we really felt like at the University of Ozarks, our research that we did in that short time that I was there was that they felt like the percentage of students that stayed at the university had a relationship with somebody on campus. And so that was able to boost, retention. But moving to, I'm finna jump to basketball because I wanted people to understand what you did and who you were. But I think moving to basketball, and let's go to the transfer portal. Mm-hmm. So you deal with a lot of, you deal with some of the, well, you're coaching at one of the best high school programs, historical programs in the country. I just had one of your alumni on as my first guest, Christina Alexander. So you have you deal with some of the best players in the country. You also you were part of one of the best AAU programs in the country, and you've dealt with some of the best. Mm-hmm. What is it about this portal? And I know you're going to say it, and I just want you to say it. What is it about this portal? Why are so many kids jumping into this portal?
It's twofold.
Mm-hmm.
It's misinformation at times. Mm-hmm. And I also think it's a matter of kids understanding how to have some grit. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the lack of adversity that kids have been allowed to face throughout their lives, the minute things get uneasy, they're willing to leave and try to figure out what's happening on the other side. Mm-hmm. I think that to some extent, the transfer portal, if a coach leaves, I think a kid should have the opportunity to leave the university or try to explore different things and figure out what it is. Because listen, we can't just blame the kids and not look at the adults in the administration. You sat in the kids' living room, you made them a promise that they were going to be there. You're going to be there for such and such amount of years, and you decide to leave for a bigger opportunity and a bigger pay, mm-hmm. right? What happened to the commitment that you made to these kids and their families? So kids in the transfer portal, it's a weird thing. And I think especially a time like now, where you got kids jumping in the transfer portal and there's no telling like how many scholarships are going to be somewhere else. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I think we have to develop a generation of kids who have a sense of grit and fight, and not because I'm not playing right now, I just need to leave. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I think, it's one of those things where I hope it changes. I hope it changes.
Yeah. And I will add to that. And I think you're dead on because I think it has to do that. But I also think on the back end, that responsibility piece to the administrative and the staff that goes into it, just like you talked about, I believe a lot of people jump into that because the lack of relationships being built, the lack of the commitment and on both ends. Because there's sometimes I think there's a lack of commitment to the coach and the staff and the administration, and we want to blame the kid, but then also I think it's vice versa. But I think there's it goes on both ends, and at some point, like, where do we meet and be adults and have the responsibility of honing in and being, who we want those kids to be? Because, and I say that because we talk about the business, and, it's funny to me because the first thing that people will talk about in our business is what? The number one thing they will mention is loyalty.
Yeah, absolutely.
And and this business is the least loyal business that I've ever been in.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've been in student affairs. I've been on college campus. It's the least loyal business. And then the second thing you hear is integrity.
Mm-hmm.
And that is missing in a lot of people and staff on how they go about doing it. So I think it's on both, but I think what you are talking about at the end of the day is really truly amazing, because it's brought you to where you are today, because you know everything that you've mentioned is about relationships, it's about loyalty and integrity. So when you move forward, where do you see yourself in the role of athletics after you get your doctorate, and then where do you see yourself moving into the educational realm? How do you want to monopolize your craft and your ability? How do you want to use that for the good of the
I
human?
think I've been blessed to, have my hands in both. Going back to when I was coaching at Berkeley, I was also the dean of students.
Wow.
And so that's unheard of to be able to do both of those things. We started a women's program from the ground up, and we ran it. It was effective. 5-6 years there. I would say 5 out of those 6 years, we made it to the national tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And then being the dean of students, I was blessed with that. So I've always had the ability to have my hands in student affairs, the college administration, and athletics. And I will continue that. I think one of the key pieces or things I would like to do when I finish with my doctoral program is to work on education reform. How do we, I think the university and colleges have to communicate with K through 12s better and vice versa, so that therefore we're setting children up for success long term.
Mm-hmm.
I think often what happens is there's a huge disconnect, and so therefore we use language like students aren't college ready, or students are deficient in this area, that area. Well, what's happening in their K through 12 experience that they're not college ready, that they come to the university with these deficiencies. And so the more and more we give access and opportunities for not only kids to visit college campuses, but also for those conversations to be had at an early age, I think is critical and important. I think in the K through 12 realm also, we've got to get back to allowing kids to critically think and assess life circumstances and situation. We test them so much to the point where they become silenced and don't and have lost various what seems to be easy to us as adults, those skill sets. But we have to now allow children to be able to communicate and understand advocacy and self-worth and value and things of that nature. So I think as far as like once I'm done, I still want to coach. But I think coaching, not in just the sense of basketball, but coach kids and mentor them through life.
Yeah. Oh man, that's absolutely amazing, and we got to have more of that and more of a heart for that. And I think we both are on the same plane as far as what our passion and purpose is. And like I said, I'm hoping to be at that piece at some point. I'm just starting June 29th. I'll be starting my doctorate, but I'm excited about the process, but also more excited about Sharod. I think we set the tone to change. You talk about generational curses within families. We get to set the tone and change a course of maybe another man's life or a young woman's life to see that someone can do it, like a mentor showed you. They broke a curse. That gentleman broke a curse, and so I'm excited for the opportunity to be able to break some curses in our lineage, but also as a Black male in our society, to show others that we don't just have to be basketball players, we don't have to be rappers, we don't have to be all those items that they think we can be, but we can be intelligent beings that are always transforming and moving forward. Man, just some amazing stuff that you're dropping today. Man, is there anything that you would like to share? I know you're a busy guy. We've been going for it doesn't even feel like we've been going for 30 minutes, almost. But is there anything else you'd like to share that you're moving forward into, and some of the things that you're doing holistically, and how people can connect? I know you're doing some speaking, you're doing workshops, you're doing some, let's talk about that real quick. What are some of the things that you offer in your portfolio of speaking and teaching and workshops that people can know about? And then, we'll put this information where they can connect with you.
Okay. I've been, for the past 2 years, I'm a certified strengths coach with Gallup. So I've worked with individuals, teams, managers, departments to focus on how to stay at peak performance, and how do you hone in on your strengths. I think we have become masters at our weaknesses, and it's important that we become professionals at our strengths. And I think, through the Gallup strengths coaching, I've been able to build some great relationships, but also more importantly, help individuals and organizations address issues in their departments, or help individuals when it comes to what sense does it make to put somebody on a performance plan or have them to do a performance evaluation every year, but we don't talk about how to get them to peak performance. And so I've been blessed with the opportunity to, as a strengths coach, be able to do that. I've been working with different conferences, the Big East. They have a student athlete conference every year. So this is year 3 or 4. This is year 3 that I've been working with them. Going on year 4 that I've been speaking at this conference. In addition to that, I work with another responsibility I have at St. John's is working with Greek life and veteran affairs. So I've been working with different student groups, no matter what college, what region. I've been working with speaking at NASPA or ACPA on different topics. I think one of the critical pieces, and one of the things I'm really passionate about, is just mentoring. Mentoring, and also looking at how do we get support programs to really impact the lives of kids. And so for those teams even out there, college teams or AAU teams and things of that nature, I think a key component to add to your program is a development, not development of skill as far as the sport, but development of skill of the mind and strengthening of the mind. And so however I could be a help to schools or sports programs, I'll make myself available.
Oh, awesome. Well, man, I have surely enjoyed this opportunity. I know I'm going to have you back. I know I want to, this assistant coaching program that I'm working on, I'd love to have you come in and do some stuff with that. But man, I got 2 questions for you, brother. Yep. To end the show, and it's our signature questions. The first one is, when we wrap this all up and you talk about who you are and, your life legacy, and they put it in the book, what would the title of that book be?
It would be Manifest Your Dream.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've been blessed to, many things that I've dreamt about, have them manifest themselves. And I think just with goal setting and persistence, I've been able to watch myself manifest my own dreams.
Awesome. That's beautiful, man. And then if we take that manifest your dreams and it goes on the picture screen, and who's playing you in the movie? My son.
That's my little twin. So yeah, if there was to be a movie, yeah, he would definitely play my role.
Awesome. Man, again, thank you so much. All Sharod's contact information will be linked to the bio. Everything that you'll need to contact him with will be in this. Sharod, prayer to you and your family that you all stay safe.
Thank you.
Man, you keep banging, you keep being amazing, you keep being awesome. I appreciate the love and the friendship that we have, and I appreciate you as a Black man and who you are and what you represent. You're an inspiration to all of us, and I pray for that doctorate dissertation to go as well. And for another episode of Full Court Press and Transition with Coach Q, we'll see you next time.
Thank you, bro. Wish you all the best with everything you're doing.
Thank you, brother.